right, this is your teacher, Mr. Weinstein. It's Friday, March 20th, 8:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good to see you all. Well, how things have really changed. I had an email from my supervisor basically detailing the district's policy about work handed out during the time that we are dealing with this pandemic. I had thought we were going to be able to continue this course online. We certainly have the capability, but it is the district's policy that we can only do packet work that was handed out previously. And that, of course, you received on the Monday, which we left. And there's good reason for it. I mean, essentially, you can't have some things offered for some kids who have internet access and those who don't. It's just not fair. And I understand that. I understand that completely. And that'll probably be something the district will address next year. In fact, I'm sure they will, because there are many districts across the country which all their students have access, so therefore they can kind of continue this thing. And like we were set up for this. We were perfectly in line for using NGL Cengage. And I'm leaving that there open. I know that some of you wanted to finish some things up. And if you wanted to go ahead, that's your business. I'm not going to grade anything past, I think, 7.1. But I'll leave that up there. And the reason I'm going to leave it up there is, especially for the seniors and those of you who are going to start a business in the future or plan on starting a business, we were told that we're coming back the 20th of April. And that's, I think, just tentative. We really don't know. I mean, all you have to do, again, is look at the way things are transpiring in other countries. We could be in this thing for the long haul. Don't quote me, but you know as well as I do that this thing could last longer. I don't know. So in any case, I wanted to leave that there. It's something that we have at our disposal. I won't grade them, but they're there. For those of you who don't go to the high school where I teach and you're just part of this channel, I'm just discussing something related to our textbook, where students go online and they basically do lessons that relate to the text. So again, I won't hold you responsible for anything after, say, 7.1. If there are some of you who still owe me chapter 6 test, there's only just a handful of you who owe me that. Make sure you get it in. So, yeah. So that's the way it has to be with that. But remember, this channel is not a district YouTube channel. It is simply my channel, and it's separate from the district. So I can still do some things that are helpful. And I think tonight, what I want to tell you is I'd like to have some type of discussion. You can leave something in the comments, questions, comments, agree, disagree. Not a problem. Or you just want to commiserate about the situation. It's always there. I can even go live. I'm not doing that tonight, but there's a possibility. Play a Kahoot game at some point in time. Use some of the things that we've learned. So that brings up basically this pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic, and why it really right now really relates to a couple of chapters that normally aren't really taken seriously, or not too seriously compared to the others in our text. And that's distribution, which is not really considered like a very sexy topic. It's just, it is what it is. You deliver your goods, you supply things, and that's that. But it really is a lot more than that, and it's really important. And now we're finding that out, as well as the economics section, which is chapter 2. So I want to talk a little bit about distribution. Those who are out there in my class or not, let's think about things. We have this pandemic. We're in crisis because many people can't work. They're put out of work. And this is not just the United States. This is just pretty much everywhere. We're essentially in a hold or a shelter in place in the sense that we're we're limited. Our movement's limited, and we need to get to certain places to survive, and that would be obviously the grocery stores and the hospitals and the pharmacies. So these are kind of your central points in your town, and you have to get your supplies to them. So these particular businesses are extremely dependent on distribution. And for example, in our area, it's ShopRite. In places in the Midwest, it might be Kroger. In Florida, it's another store. So no matter where you are, these types of operations need to have, just great distribution channels. And this is why Amazon's going to win in this situation, so to speak. And we discussed in chapter 6, and it might have been brief, but I know we brought it up, the idea of warehousing and why you warehouse. And the fact that wholesalers, have this large quantity of goods because you have to deal with changes in supply and demand, which is happening right now. And this is where you see a big problem with the masks and the surgical gloves and all these kind of things that they're going to need in the next couple of weeks in these hot spots like New York and California, and then eventually, hopefully not in New Jersey or anywhere else, but it might come up. You need to get these things, and you need to get them quickly and in large quantity. And this is a big problem because it's a life and death thing. It's not just, oh, wow, I didn't get my super duper Apple Watch or something like that on time. No, this is survival. So when you go to the grocery store now, it may even look a little different. You maybe see large quantities of goods being thrown in there constantly because people are they're panicking. They're panicking. And it's a shame because you don't want something like that. But without these channels of distribution, an entire society can go down. And this is why I say you should even perhaps consider a career dealing with distribution, because if you don't have the distribution, aside from the product, you've got nothing. So that distribution phase, that phase of the marketing mix, product, place, promotion, price, that although the product is the most important thing, you need to have the distribution aspect handled, and we certainly need this. And that's just not for the United States or Bridgeton or wherever. It has to be everywhere. You have to get these things, and they have to be done through supply chain. So that was an important chapter that is usually overlooked, but in this case, it was turned out to be extremely important. And this is why, in the future, I will definitely focus more on that as I teach in the years to come. And I hope that you'll understand why that was important. The other thing was the subject of economics, and that was important because now we're seeing this great change in the way things are going in our economy. You see the stock markets essentially lost 30 to 40% of its value, could go down even more so. People are unemployed now. Essentially, you have very little being produced and a lot being consumed. And that's always a mismatch, and that has to be made up. And that also goes for the other countries, too. They have to do the same thing. And they're going to be winners and they're going to be losers. It looks like China's done a good job in limiting the movement of its people during the pandemic, and so they are on their way back, and they're going to be able to supply a lot of countries. And you might say, oh, well, when we get back, we'll be okay. And you hear that politicians say, well, when we come back, we'll go right back up. But don't forget, as the Chinese become dependable suppliers, people are going to trust them, and they're going to sign contracts, which automatically locks them in for the future. So this is going to change our country. How much, I don't know, but to simply think it's not going to affect us once we come back is ludicrous. It makes no sense. And they've proven themselves, and we haven't right now because we've overlooked some things. We've been late with things, and we're going to have to deal with it. But things are amping up now, and hopefully we'll have enough supply to meet the demand. But right now it's not there. And again, this is a great lesson in entrepreneurship, in that you've got to deal with demand. You can have a successful, we talked about this, you have a successful business as a thought experiment. All of a sudden, you did something on Amazon and you started getting all these sales, but you can't come through because you can't deliver it, and you've got a problem. And in this case, it's a life and death problem. It's a real life and death problem because people just won't survive. Not to get morbid or anything like that, but it's just a truth, and it's a difficult situation. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say about the coronavirus in terms of entrepreneurship. I think those two chapters of economics and distribution really apply now. I mean, they're dead on, and yeah, really. And that fact that distribution was our last full chapter that we've done. So it's, who knew? And it's not a good thing either. But who knew? Who knew this was going to happen? So anyway, I think I'll keep it pretty short. I will be on again at some point in time. I may again do this live, which is not difficult to do. It's just tonight I'm not going to go live. I just want to get something out there. Nothing that I do on these videos will be expected to be graded or anything like that. So I'm going to follow the board policy with that. Nothing will be expected of you. You don't even have to watch these. But for those of you who are curious, just for the curious, feel free. And if somebody doesn't have access, bring them over. Well, I don't know if you can bring them over, but you might be able to share it somehow, and or even discuss it with a friend on the phone or something like that. I mean, whatever you have to do, you do. You don't have to do anything, quite frankly. But in any case, be safe. Follow what should be the rules as far as this pandemic. We've got to all pull together, keep your social distance. You're going to help out a lot of the elderly people like myself. So hang in there and use your time wisely, because you never get the time back, folks. And you might say, okay, I'm relaxing. You don't have to get up at a certain amount of time or whatever at a certain time. You still want to use your time because you're going to be bored after a while, and you've got to keep that thing going. I've got to keep that thing going. That's the one thing I haven't stopped and don't stop. So anyway, I wish you all peace and health. Be safe, okay? And I do care. I really do. And hope to see you soon. And if not, you'll see me here. And again, don't forget the comment section, okay? We can still keep in contact, okay? Just a little more distant. Be pretty cool. All right. Peace out, I think is what you say.